All right, now I want to see 3 serves that you would use on break point.
High pressure.
Serving 4-5 in the second set.
The real one. This one here.
All right.
But yeah, it's
All right, man. Let's take a look. I'll tell you what. Before we look at that really quickly, I'd like to review kind of a couple of main positions on serve that I like to look for, kind of reference points. First one is the trophy pose, which is like the initial load, kind of winding of the body to prepare it to accelerate towards the ball. Main things here are the body turning to face back towards where the camera is.
okay.
Also a bit of the hips facing back. And that's just kind of the initial turn to be able to unwind into the shot. Another big thing is vertical alignment with the upper body up towards the ball. Those are the main things.
Okay.
Key position number 2 is the racket drop. Watch how his chest turns up towards the ball. And as that happens, his shoulder lays back. And that's what creates this position with the racket here. And he's getting down like mid-thigh, which even for professional players is pretty amazing. He's super flexible. And then on the way up towards the ball, the racket face starts off facing to the left. And at contact, it's facing his target. And then shortly after contact, it's facing to the right.
Okay.
And so there's this kind of build of energy going up towards the ball and then a release through the point of contact. And that's what really creates a big chunk of the racket head speed going through the ball and towards the target. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Any questions? Any questions on any of that?
So it's going.
Kind of. Yeah, you had the first part right, and then once you get up to contact, it's just turning out to the right. Yeah, as your body continues to turn, the racket will finish over on the left side.
Okay.
So it's release and then across. Yeah, it's kind of confusing because you see that the hand going that way, but his arm is coming this way. So it's kind of, he's unwinding in different directions. His body is unwinding towards his target, while his arm unwinds out to the right.
Okay.
And it's that release of the arm and the shoulder that is the snap that people talk about. It's not doing this, it's actually doing this that people feel as a snapping motion. Okay. And this is like, obviously an elite example. If you looked at my serve, I don't hold this angle as long. Like I start to open my strings up towards the ball sooner than Novak does. That's a big reason why I can't hit 135 mile an hour serve. Okay, so let's take a look at what we're working with here. So we're gonna look for those same kind of benchmarks and see what we got. So here's your initial setup, which is pretty good. You're past 90 degrees. Most amateur players are lucky if they get to perpendicular to the court. You're a little bit past that with your chest, so that's good. You've got a little bit of vertical alignment up towards the ball, which is good. Not as much as Novak, but you're on like the right track, so that's good. This is why I asked if you play baseball or football, because this is very rare for an amateur tennis player. You generally don't see this kind of position until like strong 4-0 player or maybe even 4-5 or 5-0. You load your shoulder really nicely and you get the racket to an on-edge position really, really nicely.
Gotcha.
You start to unwind it a little bit earlier. I talked about that. Like here you see the strings facing to the left. Novak was still facing to the left like here. And you've opened a lot sooner.
Okay.
but this position is still really, really, really excellent. Contact, and you don't have the same release out to the side that he does. But you got a lot of really good stuff going on. Like it's a strong motion. And so here's how it looks in full speed. So you've probably, I mean, I'm sure you've had people compliment you on your motion, saying that it's smooth and kind of flowing, and it is. And the biggest reason for that is this position right here. The fact that you load your shoulders so well gives you a nice kind of circular path around and then up towards the ball.
Okay.
For me, I think the biggest ways we can improve are, the easiest one is definitely this kind of initial position with your body. We can strengthen quite a bit. One that's a little bit tougher is this here, trying to hold that angle a little bit longer and then release a little bit more. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Your biggest opportunity for improvement is definitely is definitely the second serve. Like here's in real time.
That's what it really looks like.
Right. So the reason why, like, you have the same basic framework, but you decelerate tremendously on your second serve. It's interesting. You're actually curling your wrist here through contact. But if you look at the racket head speed here, like you can tell you're just kind of like.
I'm trying to just push it over there.
Right. And so within the context, remember our talk earlier today about direction of swing and shaping the ball? That's the answer to your weak second serve. The solution to a high pressure second serve is not slowing down. It's actually accelerating more, but in the right direction so that you make more spin and more shape. The more you spin the ball, the more the ball curves, and the more it curves, the bigger margin for error you have. The more you slow down, the less spin you have, the less the ball curves, and the less margin for error you have. So you're, intuitively to us, seems to make sense, like, oh, I'm gonna go slow and be careful, but it actually takes away the safety that we wanna have. And also obviously tees it up for your opponents.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna have you come up to the baseline and go back the way that you normally do for a serve, but without a ball. And I'd like you to pause at your trophy pose, and I'm just gonna kind of adjust your position with your body, and we'll kind of go from there.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So go on back. All right, good. Yeah, you're already starting to. So a couple of things. I'd love to see this foot slide back a little bit. Yep. And see how that kind of opens your body up a little bit more.
Yep.
And so I want you to think of like a sign on your chest that we're going to show to the back fence. That's a little more than we need.
Okay.
Somewhere like right in here would be awesome. And then we're also going to tilt just a little bit more. Okay, so just kind of feel where you're at. Kind of take inventory and then go back to your setup position and see if you can go back there. All right, pretty good. We're a little exaggerated here. Go back to your setup for me. Hold on a sec. I'd like your front foot to be at about 45 degrees.
Okay.
And your back foot just back just a little tiny bit. There you go. Yeah, good.
Okay.
So first of all, just get familiar with this for me.
Okay.
And the whole point of this is to give yourself room to turn back, and also give yourself ability to kind of rock your momentum onto that back foot before you get loaded up.
Okay.
Yeah, good. And just a little more here, yeah. That's great. Okay, keep your feet right where they're at. And now go ahead, put your hands back in front and practice going back to that position. Good. Nice job. So here, check this out. So here's the one that you just did. Just set up and position there, trophy pose. Getting pretty close. So Novak's got some other stuff going on that we're not gonna get super granular on, but you can see that we're much more in the ballpark now.
Okay.
He's kind of sliding his hips out and kind of bowing the front of his body a little bit more. He's tilting a little bit more, but now we've got the turn with your core, we've got the turn with your hips, and this is what's gonna load us to unwind powerfully towards the ball.
Okay.
Good. 2 more. Okay, and now I'd love to see you set up, go back to that position, and then smoothly, like really controlled, rotate forwards, and just practice going through the rest of your motion. So we're just gonna practice the transition from trophy pose to contact.
Okay.
Real slow and controlled.
But continuous.
You can take a little bit of a pause at trophy pose. Yeah, just kind of feel it out and see. Definitely make sure that you're hitting it correctly before you move on. But you don't have to sit there for 5 seconds. No? Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. That's a good speed to work with. Here, check it out. So here's one you just did. So your whole body is much more active now. You can see how your whole core is rotating towards the ball. So between your trophy pose and contact, watch how much your hips and your chest move. That's where contact would be. And this is a little bit exaggerated because you're really kind of slowing it down and accentuating a couple of different things. You can see how your whole body is making that big turn. So here's on the left, that's you a second ago. That's the position you were getting in. I mean,
that's the previous. And
Yeah,
this is,
correct,
okay,
correct. So I mean, on the right, you look like an athlete. Am I right?
Yeah, man.
Right.
Looking good.
And so now it's a matter of getting comfortable. I mean, I didn't talk to you about legs, but you're using your legs more as well. And so everything here is just much more loaded and turned. And so now it's a matter of getting familiar and comfortable with that position and smoothly unloading all that up into the ball. And your serve will be much stronger than it was before with less effort. That's really the main thing. When people feel like effort, most of it is like arm, like effort. When you start getting your body engaged the way you are here on the right, your arm will like just be along for the ride. When you start really loading back and then twisting forwards, you can really loosen up and get a lot of spin, a lot of power without even swinging hard.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Here, you don't have much of a choice. Like you have to swing harder because your body's just not as activated.
Okay.
That makes sense?
That makes sense, yeah.
All right, cool. We just got like 3 minutes left. Let's just do a couple more slow transitions from trophy pose. We can continue this tomorrow.
Okay.
Like right from where we are right now. Yeah, that's it. Good job. Take your time on it. Especially your initial trophy pose position. And make sure you're really loading that strongly. Yep. And then slowly transition. Good. That's nice. Keep doing that. Not worried about making everything perfect right now. The main thing is just that you're able to find that trophy pose position and do it reliably.
What's so amazing, and I don't know if it's just because it's slow motion, is it's like my knees are bending automatically.
Yeah.
It could just be
We didn't talk about
no
it.
pressure right now.
There's no question you're doing it more. I'm not sure what triggered it exactly, but it's great. Good job. Any questions? So tomorrow we'll start from here, and we'll start to continue through a little bit more, and eventually we'll put a ball in there.
Sounds good.
Nice job.